Let me ask you something directly, and I want you to really think about it. What actually happens when your absolute biggest dream just breaks? Sit with that for a moment. You know that crushing weight, right? That feeling of absolute finality, the dread of facing your family or your friends. It feels like it's the end of your story, doesn't it? We have all been standing on that exact edge.
But before we go even one step further, I need you to internalize this single undeniable truth. Any goal is not bigger than your life. Just breathe that in for a second. Your existence, your breath, your heart beating in your chest right now, that entirely supersedes any exam, any job title, or any societal expectation. You are the priority here.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're looking at a completely paradigm-shifting framework from Dr. Kumar Vishwas. He introduces this incredible concept called the energy nucleus. So think about basic physics, right? When a physical object breaks, it releases energy. Well, Dr. Vishwas argues that the human spirit works the exact same way. When your dream breaks or your heart breaks, it physically releases massive, untapped human energy. Feeling broken isn't a sign of weakness. Breaking is actually the prerequisite for releasing immense power.
And that brings us to this core philosophy. When any physical thing breaks, energy is released. If your dream breaks, God has made you an energy nucleus. So feeling completely shattered right now, it doesn't mean you're ruined. It means you've been chosen. You are now primed and loaded to generate something monumental. You have just been handed the fuel.
So the really crucial point here is what you actually do with that sudden burst of raw energy. When it releases from a broken dream, negative people turn their pain into destructive bombs. They get bitter, they lash out, they give up. But true comeback energy, that involves channeling that exact same burning pain to create electricity. You use it to light up your own path and eventually the whole world around you.
Which brings us to Section 1, redirection, not rejection.
Let's trace the incredible timeline of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, literally one of history's greatest minds. Step 1, rejection. He desperately wanted to fly fighter planes for the military, but he failed to make the cut. Step 2, he's devastated, so he seeks out the wisdom of Swami Shivananda, who tells him a profound truth. He simply wasn't meant to fly planes. His destiny was larger. Step 3, he becomes the missile man. He didn't fly the planes, he built the aerospace technology that made his entire nation a formidable global power.
And let's look at how this plays out on a deeply personal family level too. Look at the path of Dr. Vishwas's own father. Step 1, he was painfully rejected for this lower division clerk job as a village seed inspector. He thought his life was over. Step 2, instead of building a bomb of bitterness, he preserved that energy and poured it relentlessly into higher education. Step 3, he became his village's very first professor, changing his entire family tree forever.
Just listen to this quote and really let it sink in. If my father had lost the battle of life after missing that opportunity, India wouldn't have Kumar Vishwas. Stop and think about the sheer gravity of that. If you give up right now because of one test or one closed door, you are actively depriving the future of the amazing, world-changing things you and your future family are meant to produce.
Now let's move on to Section 2, the big canvas, goals versus life.
Think about the difference between the small canvas and the large canvas. The small canvas, that's cracking an elite exam, getting the prestigious title of an engineer or a doctor. That is just the painting. It's merely a byproduct. But the large canvas, that is becoming a genuinely good human being. That is the main product. That's the canvas itself. And frankly, without a strong canvas, no painting can ever hold up.
This completely grounds the idea of success in reality. Consider the true signs here. 1, being a good citizen. 2, actually spreading happiness to your roommates and peers. Because let's be honest, if you get an elite degree but everyone around you just hates your toxic energy, that degree is entirely useless. 3, leaving a lasting impact on people. Empires and governments fall, but great thinkers who build character, people like Aristotle or Chanakya, they live forever in history.
Okay, let's look at Section 3, building unshakable confidence.
The source brilliantly analyzes an epic conflict from the ancient Ramayana, but through a modern, almost tactical lens. Point 1. The great bird Jatayu executes a desperate aerial intercept. Point 2. He effectively tracks voice data matching Sita's distress call. Point 3. Knowing he is massively outgunned, he still confronts the ultimate enemy aircraft. He's essentially taking on a mythological Air Force One all by himself to stop an abduction. He fights valiantly,
but he gets mortally wounded. And as he lies there dying, he asks Lord Ram a question. What message should I take to your deceased father in heaven? Picture the absolute desperation of this scene, right? Ram is a prince exiled to the forest. He has no army, no resources, and his wife has just been taken by the most terrifying, undefeated force in the world. He is at rock bottom.
And Ram's response is nothing short of legendary. Don't say anything to my father. Let Ravana himself go up and tell him what I did to him. Just feel the absolute resounding power in that statement. Facing impossible odds and total ruin, he doesn't send a message of fear or an excuse. He sends a promise of total victory. That is the roar of someone who knows their own power.
Now this is true confidence. I want you to channel this exact energy. The next time society, or your relatives, or your neighbors come knocking, asking with that fake pity about your failed exams or your recent job loss, don't give them excuses. Don't beg for sympathy. You look them in the eye, you smile, and you say, just wait. You let your ultimate comeback and your future results speak for themselves.
And that leads perfectly into Section 4, the ultimate masterpiece. Consider this single simple number, 117. Back when Dr. Vishwas was a student, that was the exact rupee cost of the IIT entrance exam form. He paid 117 rupees. He failed the exam. The dream broke. But he harnessed that energy, he found his true voice in poetry and speaking, and today, he notes that he has been paid over 117 crores from those very same institutions. He let his results do the talking.
Because worlds are shaped by the thoughts of talents, not by the hammers of exams. Passing a test or getting a promotion, that's just a small, fleeting victory. But your true masterpiece, it's leaving behind a scent of inspiration in the sky and planting resilient seeds in the earth for the people who are going to follow in your footsteps.
Which brings us to this incredibly poetic, absolute gut punch of a quote from the source. The English translation says it all. I didn't know how to die, you didn't know how to live. Listen to the defiance in that. When failure tried to end you, you simply refused to die. You endured. The people who just coast through life without struggle, without breaking, they might never truly know how to live with the fire that you now possess.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final crucial question. How will you use the energy of your broken pieces? Will you let them sit there and collect dust, or will you spark them together to create a light that absolutely blinds your doubts? You have the raw materials now. You are an energy nucleus. It is time to build your comeback. Thank you so much for spending time with me on this explainer today. Now go out there and show them exactly what you're made of.